What's up, you beautiful chuds? Welcome to the Let's Talk Horror channel. On this video, I'm going to be giving you some more Shudder recommendations. That's right, the streaming platform all about horror called Shudder, who, as I have to say this because I don't want them moaning at me, but also I do want them getting hold of me and saying here's loads of money because I'm recommending movies from their platform. But Shudder, of course, they're not a sponsor, but I would love them to be. So come and get hold of me, send me your money, and I'll talk even more about this platform. But the reason I am, and like I said in the previous episode I did of this, is that Shudder has really been a fantastic thing for the last few years or so. It has been a really important thing, as a streaming platform because it is putting on movies or has movies on there that are ones that you may have not seen for a long time, but there are also movies that you may have not even ever heard of. And that's the great thing about Shudder. There is a lot on there. And when I'm doing these videos, I'm not going to be talking about the movies that are iconic in the world of horror. Like I said, there is Halloween on Shudder. There is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's loads of iconic movies that so many of us, of course, in the world of horror know what those movies are. I don't want to talk about those movies. I want to talk about the movies that are on Shudder now that you may not have even heard of, or if you have, you haven't seen them yet. They're movies that really do deserve more love, deserve more viewership, and there's a lot of reasons as to why these movies deserve a recommendation, and that's why I'm doing it. And I'm going to keep doing these videos until there's nothing left to recommend and it's just absolute trash. Then I don't have to bother doing this anymore. By that time, Shudder will have absolutely got hold of me and give me a shitload of money. But we're going to be, I'd say, on these episodes, I'm going to give you 3 recommendations per one of these videos. And we're going to start off with Revealer. Once again, they seem to be a lot of these seem to be newer movies. But of course, it's Shudder. And once again, I'm trying to not recommend the iconic classics. Although I am going to be talking about a classic that should absolutely be a movie that is more classic than it sort of is at the moment. It should be way more iconic than it is. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but I'm going to give you sort of 2 newer movies, and this one, as said, is from 2022. It's called Revealer. This is a movie that I think is fantastic. It is a low budget movie. It is a movie that is all about a stripper and a religious protester are trapped together in a peep show booth and must come together to survive the apocalypse. I mean, that synopsis is going to tell you that this is a very unique, interesting, and different movie. That's what's great about this movie. It draws you in because it is a different type of setting. It is a different type of environment. It feels very new. It feels very fresh. But once again, it's doing all that on a very low budget level. And when you get that, that means that there is people that are truly believing in what they're doing. It has to be written well. It has to be structured well, and it has to work. And this movie really does. But it is a movie that I never, ever hear people talking about this movie. Now, that could just be the fact that I've seen it and think it's amazing, and other people have actually seen this movie, like more people than I think, and they don't like it. But I don't see how you can't, because as I said, it's got an intriguing and interesting and a different sort of concept and idea and story. It is a cosmic horror, which I'll be talking about another one in a minute, but it is a cosmic horror. So if you love the cosmic horror or the Lovecraftian sort of style horror that we got, I mean, it was very popularized around like sort of 2022, 2023, got quite a few of them. But this is a really fantastic one. They are rinsing every part of that low budget that they have. You can tell that it's low budget, but not at the same time, because the craftsmanship of this movie is very high end. It works very well structurally. I love how unique and different it feels. The performances in this, you have sort of 2 main leads. As I said, you've got one that's that they works in a peep show sort of booth. The other one's like the religious protester. Both fantastic performances, really good performances, and great chemistry. And as I said, and as I keep saying, it's intriguing, it's different. The plot, the concept, the idea is great. It has fantastic effects. A lot of it is always going to be practical. I think there is some sort of like CGI or computer sort of effects in it, but it doesn't really, they're not so bad that you take you out of it. But once again, they're using it sparingly because they understand the budget that they've got. They're not a Christopher Nolan movie, right? It has a killer soundtrack and it's shot really well. This is a very good looking movie. And as I said, they're pushing that budget to the absolute maximum, and the craftsmanship of this movie is really good. So I really like Revealer. It is a movie that I've seen. I think I've probably seen it 3 times now, maybe even more. And it's a movie that I actually watched with my partner as well, and she also enjoyed it. But I think it is another underappreciated gem, that more people should see. So there's my first recommendation. That is um, Revealer from 2022. My second recommendation I'm going to do is another cosmic horror that also came out in 2022. And funnily enough, when I do with Let's Talk Horror, I always try and do the Let's Talk Horror Awards at the end of the year or at the start of the year or whatever. And in 2022, which was a crazy difficult year for me to try and think of a top five, because I mean we had loads and loads of great movies in 2022. But another one that was in my top five, Revealer was, but also another movie was a movie called Glorious. As I said, that came out in 2022 as well. Another cosmic horror. After breaking up with his partner, a hungover Wes decides to halt at a remote rest stop in the bathroom. Wes hears a mysterious voice from the adjacent stall and gets trapped in a chaotic situation. Once again, what makes like movies interesting is when you read a synopsis like that, you're already intrigued because there is a difference to them. The concept, the idea, the story isn't these people go to a cabin and they all die. These people do this and everybody's going to die. Like, these people are stuck in a cabin. These people are stuck in a house. It's not that. There is more to them. I mean, yeah, this person is stuck somewhere, but he's in a bloody toilet. It's already a little bit different. But it's such an interesting, once again, an interesting concept, an interesting idea. But it's intriguing because you want to know where these movies are going. Very much like Revealer. You've got these two characters that have performed so well, and you want to be on this journey with them to find out where this journey goes and how it ends. I'm not going to tell you how these end because you need to go and see them. But with this movie, it's the same thing. This guy ends up, he's there, he's having the troubles in life that he is. He ends up going into the toilet and getting stuck in this toilet. And he's trapped into this crazy sort of situation. But once again, you're intrigued by it. You're like, where is this going to go? How is this going to play out? We've got to get to the end. So what's going to happen in the middle bit and the bits are around it to get to the end? Because obviously that's where so many movies fail. You've got a start, a middle, and an end, but they forget about the quarter bits. They forget the bits to go in between. This movie doesn't do that. It works really well, and I really like it. This as well, cast wise, it's actually a cast of a couple people that you probably know. The main lead in this is Ryan Quanten, I think that's his name. Basically, if you watch it's a vampire program, I think, called True Blood. If you like that, Ryan Quanten, you'll know who it is, but he's the lead in this. And then the voice in this, and obviously he's got one of the greatest voices in cinema as well. He's one of those people that he's great in the movies, whether he's in them, but if he's doing the voice of them, you know who it is straight away. But J.K. Simmons, he's in this, of course, Whiplash, Spider-Man, he plays Jameson, the guy that does the Daily Boogle stuff, whatever he is, him. Anyway, you know who I mean. He's in this, and he does the voice over this as well. And it's so good. His voice is so good, and it works so well for this character. But the thing, what's great about cosmic horror as well, and very much like Revealer as well, is that they are very fucking weird sometimes. And if you're okay with movies that aren't the norm, if you're okay with movies that are weird and sometimes you've got to figure out a little bit, or you've just got to go with it because it goes to places where you're like, this is fucking weird. Run with it, go with it. If you're not somebody that doesn't like sort of like space shit, or doesn't like weird sort of things that happen, because there are some weird things that happen, like really weird things that happen in this movie. But if you're somebody that goes with that, then sometimes you sort of, as a viewer, you reap the benefits of that, because it is a fantastic movie. It is a movie that I really love. Also, it's shot really well. Once again, it's a good looking movie, but bearing in mind the fact that this is essentially a one location movie. There's the odd bits where he's outside of it, but essentially it's all inside this bathroom. So they do a lot of good job when it comes to how the movie looks, the lighting. It works really well, and that's the good thing about this movie, is that it works. There are so many movies that don't work. This movie absolutely works, and as I said, it's just interesting, it's intriguing. You've got good performances. and it just goes along at a good pace. That's the good thing about these movies. They're not necessarily that long. And once again, it's a low budget movie as well. So they do a lot. They're pushing that budget as much as they possibly can. And then I remember the first time watching this movie, I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to say much about it, but there is a moment in this movie where we find out something about someone maybe that you don't really expect. It's sort of, I'm somebody that I'm pretty proud of the fact that I pretty much guess where movies are going to go pretty much all the time within like 5 minutes. I understand story structure and writing and so on like that. So I sort of understand where they go. This had a moment that I didn't actually get, and that is a win. But also it makes the movie better for it. It makes it more interesting and intriguing because of it. And adds a different dimension to a movie about possibly dimensions. And the Lovecraftian cosmic horror side of it. So it's a really good one. Once again, another movie with good music, and as I said, the pace is good, and they nail the story they're trying to deliver. So Glorious is another one. As I said, Glorious 2022. That's another one that I really recommend. I mean, in fact, Revealer and Glorious, the reason I put them together, that's a double bill for you. If you want to watch a couple movies together that are similar sort of in tone, Revealer, Glorious, sit down, get yourself a nice drink, some gummy bears, some gummy worms, some sour sweets, some popcorn, whatever you bloody want. I'm not telling you, you get what you bloody want. But sit down and go and enjoy both of these movies back to back. And you'll be living the best sort of life. And the last movie is a movie very, very different. And like I said at the start, that I do want to talk about some movies that should be more iconic in the world of horror than they are. And that is, of course, Intruder from 1989. This is a movie that I absolutely love. The joy I get from this movie is unbelievable. This is a movie that I have no idea how more people do not talk about this. And I sort of get it because it is 1989, right? And this is where horror really, like around this sort of area, when you start to get into like 1987, 88, 89, that's when you start getting movies like this that are deep cut cult horrors, because horror sort of lost its way, and of course, as it does with every decade, horror latches onto something that was like, essentially, as I said, the 80s is all about slashers, it's all about cocaine dreams, it's all about anything, if it's shit and you throw it at a wall and it sticks. That's what the movies are of the 80s. Anything bloody went. But the problem is that there's only so much of that you can do before it just turns to absolute trash. And that's what a lot of things happened in the 80s, where it was just absolute shit. Which is why sometimes you get movies like Intruder from 1989 that falls through the cracks of that, because people sort of stopped watching those sort of things and was hoping for the next thing to come along, or going back to the past and watching those ones. They didn't want to watch the same shit over and over again. Intruder is so not that, or even if it is part that, it's done at such an expert level. I haven't even told you what Intruder's about yet, but it's the overnight stock crew of a local supermarket find themselves trapped after hours, stalked and picked off one by one by a mysterious maniac. It's a slasher movie. I mean, it gives you everything there, but it's a great setting. It's in a supermarket, and they're all trapped there, and the people that are working there, they've got good chemistry, and some of them are giving good performances, some of them are not giving good performances, but that adds to the charm of it. Directed by the late great Scott Spiegel. Once again, another reason as to why I don't know why people aren't talking about this movie as much, especially if if you love horror, right? Because this is directed by the late great, he died, recently, Scott Spiegel, who was a big part of everything that was Evil Dead. But it's including as well, the cast includes Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi, and then we get like a 2-second, it's 2 seconds, probably more like a 2-minute cameo from Bruce Campbell, who pops up as well. So you've got like the Evil Dead crew, and then on top of the Evil Dead crew, the sort of like the main man of this. Now, I'm not going to say too much about it, but you'll remember him from shouting Baba Joe all the time on Evil Dead 2. Well, he's got a substantially bigger role in this, and he is great because he is hamming it up and taking control of that character in that screen every time he's in it. He is overselling everything, and it works so well. He's brilliant. Everybody is brilliant in this movie, even when they're not necessarily that great in regards to like a good performance. It makes the movie better. But not just that, not just the familiar faces and the fact that it's, you know, directed by Scott Spiegel. The fact of the matter is that this movie not only has some absolutely incredible effects, but to go with the effects, I think this movie has some of the all-time greatest horror movie kills. That's one of the other reasons why I don't understand why more people aren't talking about Intruder, because this has some fucking all-timers. You have one where it's to, you know, to do with like a bandsaw or a saw, you know, when it goes through. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but so basically something sharp that can cut through people. That death scene is one of the greatest scenes that you will see death-wise in the history of horror. It looks great and it looks real because of the great practical effects that they put into this movie. It's insane how sort of like unsettling that scene is because of how real it feels, and it's so expertly crafted. It looks great, but it's not just one. There's loads of death scenes in this that are absolutely all-timers, top notch. There's one where we get, you know, you get the classic gag where somebody gets stabbed and the blood goes everywhere. You get that in this, but it's like it goes everywhere. It's such a, this movie is so much fun because also it doesn't take itself too seriously because it knows what it is. And of course, you know, you've got Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi in the cast as well. Scott Spiegel obviously directed it. So there is, you know, that sort of like the cheesiness, so to speak, with it as well. But once again, everything that this movie is doing is it just adds to the charm of it. I love this. Also, it's really shot well. There's loads of really great creative shots in this. It looks fantastic. This movie is so much fun that I don't know how more people are not talking about it. This is a movie that I have seen so many times now, but once again, the reason why it's a great movie to recommend on Shudder is that it is a movie that I knew about, but I never got the opportunity to see. The first time that I saw this was quite a few years ago now, but I saw it first on Shudder, and then since then I've spent a load of money buying it because it's not easy to buy, or you spend a lot of money buying it, so I wanted a physical copy of this movie. It is a movie that when I got a little published piece, a little published article where I was talking about how I think that we need in modern day horror 80s, you know, old school deep cut cult classic horrors from the 80s. I feel like we need them now more than ever because they were so much fun. This was one of the movies in that article that I recommended. It is a movie that I recommend to everyone. I have done an episode on the podcast about it. I love Intruder. It's a great movie. Once again, it is a movie that I have no idea that if you like slashers and if you love practical effects and you love sort of the cheesiness of the 80s, but really well constructed and structured and put together movies, I have no idea, once again, how Intruder is one that more people are not talking about there in regards to the iconography of horror. It's a fantastic movie. I love Intruder. I'm going to stop talking about it because I really do love it and I could talk about it forever, but I'm not going to. So there you go. There's 3 more recommendations. You've got Revealer, you've got Glorious, and then you've also got Intruder. 2 newer ones, one old school 80s, right at the end of the 80s. All of them great movies. All of them really, you know, sort of fun, interesting, unique. And also, as I said, Intruder has some of the all-time greatest deaths. And you can't bloody not want to see that, right? So there we go. That's 3 more. And then when I do another one, I'll give you 3 more recommendations from Shudder, who, as I said, by the end of this, absolutely bloody better, you know, bloody give me money. Otherwise, I wish I hadn't bloody done them. That's a lie. I was going to do them anyway, whether they give me money or not. I enjoy doing it. And I hope you're enjoying them as well. And also, as I said, like I said on the last episode as well, if you're watching this video and you go and watch these movies, let me know. Come back to me. Let me know in the comments on this video or you can go over to any of the social platforms. We're on Instagram, Twix, which is what I call X and Twitter together, and basically any of the social media platforms. Look for Let's Talk Horror Channel. You'll find us. You can send me a DM or say comment on this video on YouTube. Let me know what you think about these movies. If you think they're naff, well, that's on you. I think they're bloody brilliant. I think that you should watch them. And if you do enjoy them, let me know in the comments. But there we go. There's another 3 Shudder recommendations, and then we move on to the next one. But until next time, stay creepy, fuckers.